Hey, I'm Miranda. For the last couple of weeks, I've talked to you about my lived experiences with racism. But that is not all of my life. I have two wonderful teenagers who both happen to have ASD, and they're going to share their lived experiences with autism with you. Now, we're just going to start all over again so that they can be included in this introduction. Hey, I'm Miranda.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hey, I'm Randolph.
We're the Rosebergs, and we're going to talk to you about our shared experiences and our lived experiences with autism. When the boys were small, I was told that they weren't really going to be able to do anything. They were going to have no empathy. You were going to have no compassion, that you weren't able to make any friends. Basically, they're going to have horrible, broken lives, but that we had to teach them how to have good lives so their lives didn't suck. And I didn't want to raise them that way. I just raised them that they're different. If the whole world is Windows, then they're Mac. And that's it. True or not true?
Close.
Anyway. We've been talking about autism a lot lately, its definition and how it affects their lives. So to that end, we're going to share all of that with you, and this will probably be a two-part video. We're going to start with a, what is it called, a reaction video?
Yeah.
We're going to start with a reaction video as to the definition of autism. How is that, children?
That's fine. I'm nervous, but that's fine.
You shouldn't be nervous.
I would have had some sass.
So a few years ago, oops. You're terrible. So you didn't tell me. So a while ago, I was working on this project about autism, and someone had provided me this really lovely layman's definition of it. And the boys heard part of it today, and I saw eyes rolling. So why did you have a problem with it, Michael?
Whenever I hear definitions like this, which I've heard my entire life, they've always sounded super clinical. They weren't really explained in ways that most people could understand.
I get that. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Look more excited about it. Tell your
Okay.
face.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get into it.
Okay.
I am having fun.
Brief layman's explanation of what autism is. I think it's important when explaining autism spectrum disorder or ASD to point out that it is a spectrum. The word spectrum is necessary.
Oh, I heard a sigh. Why did you sigh? First of all, before you say anything, the lady that provided this definition, it's a brilliant definition. This is just his reaction to the definition, not her explanation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, no bashing on her.
Just look at me and talk to me like it's me.
Calling autism a spectrum removes some of the actual details of what autism is, as if it's saying you're going to be on one side or the other, like there's a slider, when in reality you're going to have a random mix and match of every single feature of it.
That's an excellent point. Autism used to be defined as a spectrum, so there was a line and you were a low functioning or high functioning. But now a lot of people define it as a wheel. So you have a whole wheel, and the different spokes are all the different aspects of autism, and you can have any combination of spokes. Fair?
Yes, it's fair. I would also like to add that a neurotypical person would most likely have a very smooth, round wheel, but a person with autism will have a much more spiky wheel.
That is also a good point. Oh man, I have smart kids. Let's go.
Spectrum is necessary to use because not all people with autism have the same difficulties. People with autism may have difficulties in the area of social communication. Example, maybe eye contact, initiating conversations. Another area. Yes.
This is probably the thing that most people are familiar with when it comes to autism. It's the stereotype of the weird kid, but it's also the thing that's the least well understood.
Well, eye contact is the least well understood?
No, social problems that come with autism.
Like what? Give me one example.
Can I give a general rule that's very brief?
Sure.
You as a neurotypical person have
Me as a neurotypical person
have this innate ability to understand people. You've had it since birth.
I would disagree with you because I think half of the neurotypical people I know do not interact well with other people.
You know what? Fair, but they do have a built-in intuition for it. And even that level is far above what an autistic person may have.
Can I jump in again?
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that the definition opens up with the difficulties and struggles of autism.
Why?
To open up something like this immediately with the problems already sets a standard for what you should expect from an autistic person.
Are you saying then that if the definition starts out with what is perceived to be negative as opposed to what is perceived to be positive, it sets a bad expectation for people with autism?
Yes, it does pose a problem.
So would you have preferred the word challenges?
Yeah. Or start off with something else entirely, but
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what I'm doing.
That's okay, you did great. Let's get back to the video.
Another area that they may have difficulty with is social imagination. Examples, some people with autism may be quite literal in their thinking, not be able to think outside the box. Another area they may have...
I am guilty of this. I am completely and utterly guilty of taking things too literally It is great.
That resonates with you?
I use it to my amusement to annoy you. It is brilliant.
This is true because you annoy me. That is not what you meant, Mother. You said you want a pen to write on. Are you going to write on the pen?
That's what I did. That's not him.
It's both of you.
Social imagination, as it's put here, which is a new term for me, actually. It's this intuition that, again, you have, but I don't inherently have, and that I've had to learn on my own.
Another area they may have difficulties in is social interaction, understand social cues. And the last area.
Yes. Yes.
That was a big reaction.
Yes.
Randolph. We just had like a minute of like autism-based camaraderie right here.
Autism-based camaraderie?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you want to start this one? Or should I?
We'll do it together.
It is to our detriment that we are both autistic, so when we hang out with each other, we do not support each other in learning these social cues.
It's like 2 layers of, not incompetence, but 2 layers of struggling.
You and I don't have any personal space. You and I don't know how to make eye contact properly yet.
We have a mutual agreement to not make eye contact.
Yes.
Great.
We don't have to at any point.
He says as we make eye contact.
So the two of you are talking about not having eye contact whilst gazing deeply into one another's eyes.
I'm looking at his nose.
I'm looking at his face. You see, we know each other. It's not as overwhelming for us.
Okay, that's fair.
And the last area is sensory processing. Just one example there would be like noise sensitivities. Again, it is important.
Yes. This is my department right here. I struggle a lot with the sense of sound. Specifically, there are specific kinds of sounds like multiple noises at once, really loud sounds, really tiny scratchy sounds that I can't handle because it's frustrating to process.
When you say it's hard to process, what do you mean?
There's so much going on that when it comes to interpreting it, your brain and your entire body gets overwhelmed.
Michael,
Yes.
do you,
What?
Michael,
Yes.
do you have problems with sensory processing?
Yes. They're a bit more subtle than my brothers, but I find that makes it such that people are belittling when I bring it up.
So you think people are looking at you thinking, oh, just get over it, like you're overreacting?
People have told me that.
Ooh, and how do you feel when people tell you that?
Hurt. And it also makes me question my own level of normalcy. Like, should I just tolerate this? Or probably should I not? Even though I know I do have this problem and it must be recognized.
That is sad. I am so sorry for you. You want me to punch him in the face?
Yes.
Why I think it's a him?
You know what? You're right. That was very sexist of me. Would you like for me to punch them in the face?
No.
Why not?
Because that wouldn't get the message across.
What message would you like to get across?
If you've ever been in a situation where your mind just locks up, you're unable to focus or hold on to a thought because it's like water slipping through your fingers, then that's what I'm like whenever I'm in a crowd. So for you who are watching, I would like you to understand that when I say I'm overwhelmed, it's not just me overreacting. It's a problem that is real that must be addressed.
So are you saying you wish that people were more understanding rather than judging and telling you what to do?
Yes, because I'm not just imagining it.
I got you. Listen to him. All right, let's see the end.
Again, it is important to remember that every person with autism is affected in different ways, and it's a very hard diagnosis to explain because they are affected in so many different ways.
So I'm just going to jump in and say, yes, autism manifests differently in different people. Everybody's unique. Michael's brand of autism is very different from Randolph's brand of autism. And yet we seem to manage as human beings in this house and get along with one another. I think the problem is the world does not understand autism. And if we had more inclusion and more education surrounding autism, it would make the world an easier place for these wonderful children, or grown men, these grown men to live in. Thanks again for watching and listening to our
Thoughts?
And our feelings.
Thanks again for listening to
Our thoughts?
And our feelings.
about autism. He's laughing at me. We're going to do a part 2. We're going to discuss our lived experiences. So keep an eye out for that. And thanks again. I'll chat to you later. Bye.
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 Good job, fellows.
You